hand here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC and our summer sales event on our way this month. Right now, get 0.9% interest. Yes, you heard right. 0.9% APR on select new Chevrolet and GMC vehicles, plus a $1,500 trade-in bonus on select Silverados and Sierras. You put all that together with some big Coppell discounts, and you have a tremendous buying experience. So stop on into the dealership or check us out online at CoppellCars.com. You'll be glad you did. All deals with approved credit.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Vann with Professional Realtor Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is when buying or selling residential and commercial property. Vann's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Vann Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism.
This is the Happy Hour.
You guys going to happy hour?
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America.
Yeah, I'll come for a couple.
Are your hosts, Nick Sainert.
I want to know what it's like to commit a crime without having to spend time in jail.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
C is for chunk.
Brought to you by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Good afternoon. Happy Monday. This is the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert and Rico joining you. Hello, Rico.
Hello.
Happy Monday, man.
Happy Monday. Happy College World Series, Men's College World Series final.
I'm juiced up for tonight's game.
Final.
Game
Since
3.
It's been the final.
All the marbles tonight.
Do people still care about marbles?
I'm pretty excited for tonight's game, Rico. I'll be honest with you.
Okay. I know you put the numbers together, and if you guys haven't seen, go to his Twitter at Nick_Sainert. He put the numbers together for this Men's College World Series, and I knew it was a great one because all the games have been super close and like phenomenal to watch. As Adam Carricker says, phenomenal to watch. And the numbers just, you can see it.
So, as always, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line, as well as the Starter Heyman Jewelers video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Allo channel 951, 951 for you guys if you want to watch what's going on in the studio here.
It's right there.
So, we talked about the numbers. I'll get to those here in just a moment. But we need your help to start here. So, we've done a poll. And we used to do solely Twitter polls, but thanks to our new text line, we can do text polls, right? So it's easier for you guys to engage with the show. Send us a text, Florida or LSU. Who wins Game 3 tonight? The poll has been created. Send us Florida or LSU. Who wins Game 3 tonight from Charles Schwab Field? And we'll let you guys know the results on who you guys think is going to win Game 3 of the finals tonight. Talked about those numbers. In 2022, let me just go through first 2022.
Please do.
In 2022, one of the Men's College World Series games was decided by 1 run. 2 games were decided by 2 runs. 12 games last season in 2022 were decided by 4 or more runs. Okay? Now, transitioning into 2023, this year, this Men's College World Series has been phenomenal. It's been electric. You've had close, dramatic finishes, couple extra inning games, right? 3 games have been decided by 4 or more runs. 4 games decided by 2 or 3 runs. And a staggering 8 games have been decided by 1 run this year. 8 of the 15 games have been decided by 1 run. And if you want to take it a step further, 12 of the 15 games that have been played here in the 2023 Men's College World Series have been decided by fewer than 3 runs. It's been electric. It's been such a good bounce back year for the sport of college baseball. And the attendance has been awesome at Charles Schwab Field as well. It's been just a really, really enjoyable, I think it's been like 11 days of the men's college World Series, and just a great bounce back year. We do have a loaded show for you guys. Just in about 2 minutes or so, we're going to be joined by Leah Vann of the Advocate down in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. She's been in Omaha for the last, 12 days covering the Tigers. She's covered it. LSU has had a really interesting story as well, because don't forget, we're one game away from elimination, then had to beat a team in Wake Forest that has been the number one team for a good chunk of the regular season. They had to beat them twice, and now they find themselves in the championship final series ahead of game 3. And now it's a good time to bring in Leah Vann on the Allo VIP line, 402-464-5685. Leah, I appreciate you doing this on such short notice. How long have you actually been in Omaha?
I've been here since Wednesday, June 14th.
How ready are you? How ready are you to get back to Baton Rouge?
I'm ready to go home to my bed. I'm not going to say that I'm ready to live in Baton Rouge right now, but yeah.
So
it's very hot there.
Once again, we're joined by Leah Vann of the Advocate down in Baton Rouge. She covers football and baseball for LSU. And so when you look at this LSU baseball team, they had to fight back in the elimination game against Tennessee, then beat a Wake Forest team who was the number one team in the country for a pretty good chunk of the season, and they had to beat those guys 2 times. It's been a really enjoyable couple of weeks for LSU baseball fans.
Yeah, I would say that it's been eventful and exciting. I mean, you're having games go to extra innings. You're having games come down to the wire, and there was a shutout of Tennessee. You're seeing the best of LSU's pitchers that you've seen all season. Ty Floyd striking out, was it 17 guys? I don't even remember. And Paul Skeens, you've seen twice, potentially see him today. And like one of the best games that I guess in College World Series history was him and Rhett Lauder going toe to toe against those 2 powerful lineups. I think, regardless of what happens today, it's been a really exciting journey, and it's been a lot of really good baseball.
Leah, you mentioned Paul Skeens, right? And one of the biggest question marks going into game 3 tonight in Omaha is whether or not he's going to start or if we'll see him at all. I mean, what's your kind of outlook on Paul Skeens? He's thrown in 2 games, I believe, here in the Men's College World Series. What's your outlook, and how do you see head coach Jay Johnson handling the power arm of Paul Skeens?
Well, it's kind of like Johnson has kind of stuck to the same approach with his pitching the entire season and how he draws it up. Like, we have not seen Paul Skeens work out of the pen at all. So my guess is that we would, if he is playing today, is that we would see him start. I'm not ruling out the possibility of him coming out of the pen. I just am saying that it has been kind of a creature of habit mindset with Jay Johnson here. And you saw that with him throwing Nate Ackenhausen for the second time as a starter here in the College World Series. You saw that when Paul Skeens worked against Tulane to open the regional. He has not changed anything. And so I would think he would, I know this is a different circumstance in which Paul is on 3 days of rest, but I think he also wants to win. And so it's up to what is best for the arm health of Paul Skeens going into the MLB draft. And it also, what also comes into account is like, okay, are we going to try to what's going to give us the best opportunity to win a national title? And I think you have to get ahead against this Florida team, right? Because LSU, and, part of that is on the offense, because LSU certainly had plenty of opportunities in both of its games against Florida to take an early lead. And that was mostly because of starting pitcher Ty Floyd, and Nate Ackenhausen was okay through the first 3 innings. And so you want to have the opportunity to win and to seize the momentum early. And so my idea is that you get in your best pitcher early and you try to take over that momentum, and then you can ride out the rest of the game with Thatcher Hurd, which we've seen in the past, or Griffin Herring. 2 of LSU's best bullpen arms are available today.
We're speaking with Leah Vann of The Advocate, LSU football and baseball beat writer. And Leah, 24-4 is going to be kind of hard to forget. It was a windy day, a blustery day in a park that doesn't see a lot of home runs. Saw a bunch yesterday from Florida. And what was the mentality, or what is the mentality of this LSU squad going into this game? How was the fan base coming out of that game? And do you think there might be some type of hangover if Florida, let's say they hit a solo shot at some point? Is there going to be some type of hangover from watching the ball leave the park so many times yesterday?
LSU's been historically very good at flushing out a bad game. They've only lost back-to-back games twice this season, and they've had their backs against the wall the entire time they've been in Omaha. I almost said lived in Omaha. And, so I think like yesterday they kind of came into the press conference and they said, we've already forgotten about it. It's over. And if anybody who has followed LSU baseball for this entire season knows that the bullpen arms that came in those later innings that kind of drove up the score, were guys that had not pitched since early May, not end of May, early May. It had been over a month and since Bryce Collins, Christian Little, and Sam Dutton had even seen the mound. And so it was good to get those guys time, but like at the same time, it's like, okay, you could definitely tell you're saving the best bullpen arms for the next game. So this one no longer matters. And because Florida had that 8-3 lead, and that's kind of when Jay Johnson said, at this point, I think the game is out of our hands because, the errors, and it just seemed like it wasn't working their way. And then I think at 7-3, he said they felt like they could still be in it. But when that last kind of error kind of bit LSU in the butt, you could kind of see the writing on the wall with the momentum. And, he tried throwing Gavin Guidry for a little bit, and it didn't work. And so then turns to Bryce Collins, who was pretty good against Florida last year. I think he had no earned runs on one hit or something, and a couple of, I think, 3 innings pitched, 1 earned run on no hits. That's what it was, a 3 innings pitch. So, I think, I don't know, if you were a baseball fan, you saw yesterday as like, okay, this is just kind of hammering the nail in a coffin that has already been kind of, buried by the 6th inning.
Leah, 25,292 people attended game 2 of the finals yesterday in Omaha. Talk about the LSU fan base, because we always talk about it leading up to the College World Series. Businesses love it when LSU's in town. Obviously, they're approaching the 50,000 Jello shot number. I mean, their fan base, when they make the trip to Omaha, they come in large numbers.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the reason why I have a job, right? I have covered all but 5 games of the LSU baseball season because I'm the #1 baseball beat writer for LSU for The Advocate, and I travel to regular season games. And so I tell people there's a reason why my job exists in college baseball, but not necessarily anywhere else. And that is because the LSU fan base craves it and reads every single word and cares about a midweek game in March, And so this is something people plan their lives around every summer. They anticipate it. They expect to be here. It's a historical program. It's very prominent. It's also like a nice slight break from the heat that they are experiencing in Baton Rouge. There's not a lot to do in Baton Rouge outside of LSU sports, and I've said that, and everybody knows it. And that's what the SEC is all about. It's just full of towns where there's nothing else to do but watch the team. But LSU is special just because of the history of the program and what Skip Bertman built, and he instilled that culture, and it has carried on for years and years because it's just ever present in that town. You've got Mikey Matuk, who is running a podcast in local LSU, in Baton Rouge, and he keeps people engaged. You've got Ryan Terrio on the radio at ESPN in Baton Rouge. They kind of force you to stay in it and to stay engaged. And so, I think it's honestly like, it's got to be a fun family vacation. It's not like the most expensive destination to go. Though I'm sure if you're spending 2 weeks here, it is expensive. But then you also get to watch a bunch of fun baseball, and you get to be in a town that's pretty poppin' for, this time of year.
We're talking to Leah Vann of The Advocate from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Been up in Omaha for a little over 10 days or so, covering LSU baseball. We have to talk about the storyline around junior pitcher Riley Cooper, because you tweeted it out yesterday about his type of flu game, right? So tell our listeners a little bit about Riley Cooper's situation, and then ultimately, do we think Riley Cooper will be available for Game 3 if needed?
So first off, I did get word about the Riley Cooper situation probably right after the game ended. I noticed I hadn't seen him, but I guess I thought, because the ballpark is so big, sometimes I don't want to say I don't see someone if they actually are here, And so that's kind of the challenge of being a reporter here in Omaha. But yeah, he had a stomach bug yesterday and was stuck at the hotel. That's how sick he was. And I still don't know if he will be available today. My guess is that's going to be a very last minute decision, depending on how he feels, because I don't know if it's the flu. I don't know if it was just a virus. I don't know if it was just something he ate. But so obviously he's been a big bullpen arm for LSU. He's made the most appearances here in Omaha. I think he's made 4, including back-to-back appearances where he threw 40 pitches one night and 22 pitches the next. And so, obviously he's a really intricate part of this team, but I also don't think yesterday he would have even seen the mound anyway, given the way that the game had kind of gotten out of LSU's hands. And I think they would have saved him for today anyway. Whether or not he's available today still kind of remains to be seen. But yeah, I did do a feature story on Riley Cooper last year when he had first transferred from Arizona. And I had learned from his former high school coach that one time he had mono and fell asleep right before a game in the locker room. And he's like, "Hey man, you got to go out there and pitch." And he pitched like a 17 strikeout shutout. In California, the high school baseball in California is full of pro players, and he played for a very elite high school. So to do that when in the state of mind or, illness that he was in, that was a pretty that was a pretty pivotal moment in his high school career. But I don't know. I'm not asking or saying that he should try to replicate that, because if he's not feeling his best, he probably should not play.
Okay, Lee, a couple more before we go ahead and let you go. I'd be disappointed in myself if we let you go without talking about the Golden Spikes Award winner for the best player in all of college baseball, Dylan Cruz, right? So Dylan Cruz probably going to be a top 3 pick in July's MLB draft. When fans are watching Game 3 tonight, what do they need to know about the LSU center fielder?
He has reached base in 73 straight games, or 74. That is dating back to last season, the end of last season through the regional. And so that is kind of, if you think about it, doing anything consistently 74 times is insane. And he did at one point this season go on a 26-game hit streak. So, and I think that it ended in some way that kind of sucked. It was like he was intentionally walked twice or something, So, I think what's really cool about Dylan Cruz is that the way he learned how to hit a baseball was very old fashioned in the broken down warehouse with a very old Met scout who named Mo Pesci, and he's passed away since, but he taught Dylan how to hit a baseball, making him hit tires with weighted bats, like a lot of these Dominican Republic methods of weighing to kind of build his bat speed, which is something that he's very known for. My colleague also did a story on the science behind his vision and what makes him elite with seeing the baseball and identifying pitches really quicker than your average guy in the MLB. So this guy is the future. He's a future major leaguer, but he's also a really good guy. He was on the community service team in the SEC. He's done a lot for the special needs community in Baton Rouge by providing them tickets and interacting specifically with a young girl named Aubrey, who said it like her first word was Dylan Cruz. Wow. So, he's a good human being. He's a fantastic baseball player, and this is the last time you're going to see him in a Tigers uniform.
Leah, hey, we cannot appreciate you enough for coming on late notice. what is LSU going to have to do tonight to walk away as a national champion?
They need to drive in runners. They need to bat with runners on base. They cannot leave 10 runners stranded, 17 runners stranded, 13 runners stranded, whatever. They need to be able to convert those runners into runs. And I think if they're able to do that, which they have been in the past, they have the nation's RBI leader in Tommy White. I think if their pitching just does enough to get them through against this lineup, then they'll be able to capture a victory.
Good stuff. Leah, appreciate the time as always. Have a safe trip back home to the hot state of Louisiana and to Baton Rouge. We really appreciate you coming on with us.
Thank you for having me. That
is Leah Vann of The Advocate based out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Cool story there about Dylan Cruz. And because those are things that we don't, as up here in Nebraska, without reading the article. The reason I asked her also is she has on her Twitter a pinned tweet of her story, her feature story with Dylan Cruz. And so she sat down with Dylan and got to know a little bit more about him. So that was really cool to hear about Dylan Cruz. And she believes that if we're going to see Paul Skeens tonight, then it'll be to start the game in the top of the first inning. So still no official word. I'm not sure. We'll find out until lineups come out and we're a little closer to game time. I do not.
You want to put $1 on it?
Because I don't know which way it's going to go, Rico.
Let's go to Warhorse right now.
I am not sure which way it's going to go. So once again, huge thanks to Leah Vann of The Advocate down in Baton Rouge, beat writer for LSU football and baseball, for joining us and talking and previewing Game 3 of the Men's College World Series going on tonight. First pitch from the Schwab.
Everybody calls it the Chuck.
From Charles Schwab Field is at 7 p.m. tonight on the ESPN network. So let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, Carter Nelson has set his recruitment date once again. If you have just been joining us just recently, 402-464-5685. Feel free to text us LSU or Florida. We'll have a running poll throughout the course of the show. And when we have Strick and Austin in for the crossover in our final segment, we'll update the poll. Send us LSU or send us Florida, who you think is going to win Game 3 of the Men's College World Series tonight from Omaha, and we'll tell you guys the results coming up at the end of the show. We'll take a break. You're listening to The Happy Hour on a Monday, 93.7 The Ticket.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at RicoAC. More of Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
The Butchery by Venue is Lincoln's premier specialty grocers. Take the quality of Venue home with you with our hand-cut steaks, handcrafted burgers, and locally sourced offerings. Browse our wide selection of specialty products designed to enhance your dining experiences with cheeses, spices, sauces, and more. We also have an exclusive collection of liquors, whiskeys, and bourbons at prices you're sure to love. Stop in to the Butchery by Venue today, located in our Venue at Home storefront at 70th and Pioneers, just 2 doors down from Venue Restaurant and Lounge.
America's been around since 1776. That's nothing. America's still just learning how to party. The Irish? The Irish have been doing it for thousands of years. Party the Irish way at McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket. They've got your favorite Irish beers on tap, along with all the locals and domestics. Plus great house cocktails, a huge selection of Irish whiskey, and the best Irish pub food in town. See the full menu and list of specials online at mckinneyspub.com, or just head down there. McKinney's Irish Pub at 7th and P in the Haymarket.
Allo is turning 20 this year, and we plan to celebrate all year long. Since 2003, Allo has vowed to put customers first and deliver a drastically different experience. No matter where you live, work, or play, we believe you deserve an affordable, secure, and reliable connection. We're proud to have served our businesses and residents with seriously fast fiber optic service for 2 decades. Thank you for trusting Allo as your local internet, phone, and TV provider. Follow us on social media to know about the 20th anniversary celebrations in all our Allo communities.
Look at your car. It's filthy and probably has a few dings and nicks all over it. Don't be that guy. Get it upgraded and repaired at Renew Your Auto. At Renew Your Auto, they offer tons of services: ceramic coating, window tinting, paintless dent repair, washes and details, bed liners, body shop, and more. Where can you go to get services like that all in one place? Schedule your appointment today at renewyourauto.com. See what Renew can do for you.
There's never been a better time to earn more on your checking account. Open a free Kasasa Cash checking account with Liberty First Credit Union and earn up to 5.5% APY for up to $40,000. It's simple. Open your Kasasa Cash checking account online or stop into any of the 4 Lincoln locations or Seward and Omaha branches. Liberty First makes switching easy, and Kasasa checking is always free. See libertyfirstcu.com for details. Federally insured by NCUA. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose.
It's summertime at the Lincoln YMCA. With 3 outdoor pools, swim lessons, camps, youth sports, and child watch, there's never a dull moment for the kids. Take your wellness goals to new heights with the Y's vast array of cardio and strength training options, free group exercise classes, and the dedicated help of their specialists that will work with you to implement a plan customized to meet your needs. With 4 convenient locations, there's a YMCA near you. Let's make this the best summer yet. Visit ymcalincoln.org to join today. The YMCA, for a better us.
Are you ready to upgrade your combine? Don't wait. Act now to choose from the widest selection of used combines at Acres Equipment. Acres, the nation's largest John Deere combine dealer, is offering 2.9% interest for 60 months on over 100 pre-owned combines. Go to acres.com to view a huge inventory of low-hour, late-model John Deere combines. Find what you like, and we'll deliver it to your farm for free. Acres, solutions for every field.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top-shelf liquor to crowd-favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
This is Brad with Midwest Bank, proudly serving our Nebraska communities for over 70 years. We're a community bank, making local decisions, supporting local organizations, and helping local businesses and farms succeed. We are dedicated to serving our clients and helping them meet their financial needs with sound, innovative banking solutions. From an array of checking and deposit accounts, cash management services, to small business, real estate, and ag lending. We're here for you. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Find out more at midwestbank.com. Member FDIC.
Sunday morning. It's quiet. Not in a weird, too quiet way. Calm, peaceful, tranquil. You pour yourself that cup of coffee. You slice yourself a hearty chunk of one of Beatrice Bakery's breakfast breads. Now, maybe you're an apple streusel guy. Nothing wrong with that. I can respect that. Personally, I'm a turtle nut man. Something about those pecans. But the real ones know, don't sleep on that date nut bread. Sweet, but not too sweet. Nutty, not overly. The perfect morning treat. Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions. You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert.
This is a house of learned doctors.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
As soon as your eyes shut, I'm going to punch you square in the face.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Once again, a huge thank you to Leah Vann of The Advocate from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, previewing College World Series Game 3. Tomorrow, we will have Kyle Peterson from ESPN, color commentator for college baseball. He'll be on the show tomorrow at 1:30 to recap the College World Series. You'll be able to hear him tonight if you're watching the game. KP, Kyle Peterson, will be on the show tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. as well. So that's going to be a good one. Just a recap, once again, a College World Series that's been as good as we could have ever hoped for.
It's been electric.
It's been a great atmosphere. We were down. Shout out to Blur Parties once again. We were down there for Friday and Monday through Wednesday this last week and a half or so, just celebrating and having a good time at the College World Series. And so just a huge thanks to them again.
I was down there on Saturday. Big LSU contingent.
Really?
And it was so we left our kids with my mom.
Okay.
In Omaha, and the game started late. It was there late. We left at like, kids' bedtime's about 8. We left at like 9 to get back and then drive back to Lincoln. I'm kind of upset because we left, and while we're in the car listening, Tommy hits the home run to tie it.
Oh, I wish.
And I was so, because dude, it was so loud there, like during all, and you could cut so where you're there when things happen at the stadium, you can hear it. So we're sitting there watching the TV, and obviously the TV's a little delayed, so you hear this cheering.
Yeah,
and I was like, it wasn't that loud, so it probably wasn't a home run. And then it was like strike, and I go, wow, I guess this is really delayed. All of a sudden hits one, and I go, oh, it's an RBI, and it just kept carrying and hit the I think it was the 2-run home run to give LSU the lead early in the game. And I was like, well, that was great. And we're just sitting there watching, and there was a couple people behind. It was mostly LSU fans because obviously at the Hilton, LSU was there, along with Wake Forest. Wake Forest was gone, so it was all LSU fans. There was one table with about 5 Florida fans. So when Florida ties it up, or when they take the lead, you just hear these 5 people cheering and screaming, and it's just dead silent from everyone else.
Wow.
So you hear 5 people, yeah, let's go Gators, woo! And I'm like, ooh, okay. This is SEC baseball. This could get intense. This is just silence. And you just hear one guy is just like, just wait. And sure enough, we leave. Tommy hits the home run, ties it up, and then LSU comes back and wins that first game. But it was so much fun down there. People were talking. We made a couple new friends from Louisiana. It was great.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just
Blur does an amazing job.
Blur did a fantastic job hosting us. Thanks to them once again for having us out. Looking forward to more stuff with Blur down the road here. But you've had now 2 national championship games that have surpassed the 25,000 fan mark, right? And tonight, tickets are still on sale for tonight's game. Just looked it up on SeatGeek. You can buy a ticket for $38. You're sitting way up in the corner, down the left field line, way up there, in the 300 level, but they're for $38. So if you have, I was fortunate enough to be.
You'll pay more for food than you will for your ticket.
I was fortunate enough to be in the stands when Virginia beat the Dansby Swanson Vanderbilt team in Game 3. I went to Game 2 and I was like, man, I wanted Vanderbilt to win at that time because I was like, I want to see a national champion get crowned. And then after Virginia won Game 2 from Vanderbilt, I thought I can't miss Game 3 now. So fun little nugget as well of information. 5 of the last 7 teams to win the national championship lost Game 1. 5 of the last 7 teams to win the national championship in college baseball lost Game 1, and they went on to win Games 2 and 3. So
the secret to be a national championship in men's college baseball, don't be a 1 seed and lose the first game of the championship series.
I guess so.
There you go.
Once again, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Sutter Heyman text line, both those open for you guys. Little bit of updates throughout a couple basketball things. John Collins and a 2nd-round pick, John Collins, formerly of the Atlanta Hawks, going to Utah for Rudy Gay.
And
correct? And a 2nd-round pick. No 2nd-round pick going from Atlanta.
John Collins going from Atlanta to Utah, Rudy Gay, and a 2nd-round pick going from Utah to Atlanta. Not finalized. They're still working on some things. And as we've seen with the Kristaps Porzingis trade, things could get weird and things could get crazy. So we'll wait. We'll see what happens. This is just a salary dump pretty much for Atlanta. But they are, I just saw they're willing to go deep into the luxury tax to get some stars down to Atlanta to pair with Trae Young and Clint Capella. So we'll see what happens. What happens with Atlanta, who decides to join Trae Young down in Hotlanta. But no John Collins anymore, who I thought was going to be a centerpiece. Him and Trae were going to be a centerpiece of that Atlanta Hawks roster for years to come. But he wants more money. He's getting paid a decent amount of money. He thinks that he should be getting more touches. I don't know if that's exactly what's going to happen in Utah with Lauri Markkanen, who I believe was the 6th man of the year this year, or not 6th man, the most improved player this year. Although he is serving his military service in Finland, correct?
Yeah, so in Finland. And so that's where I was going to go next. Lauri Markkanen averaged 25.5 points and 9 rebounds a game this year. Had a really good season for Utah.
After leaving Chicago.
After leaving Chicago. You had to throw that in there.
Well, I had to.
John Collins himself in Atlanta averaged 14 a game and 14 and 7 a game for the Hawks. And so now you pair that with Colin Sexton in Utah, and I believe Taylor Horton-Tucker's still there.
I think Jordan Clarkson's still there.
Jordan Clarkson. Johnny Juzang is from UCLA is there. I believe he's there. But anyway,
Utah's going to have himself a nice young squad.
So if this goes through, I think they have Azubuike from Kansas as well. I want to say that they Walker Kessler as well. But anyway, Utah, there's something there. If they're willing to pay that $78 million contract of John Collins, this is something that for Utah is, I guess, a positive. It's a move in the right direction.
They'll keep him. They'll see exactly what happens. Because the thing with Utah right now is they obviously every team every year wants to be good. But at the same time, I think that they're accepting of, if we're not, we'll get into the lottery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I suppose so. And then in addition to that, Siobhan Shields, a little bit of a Husker news here. Siobhan Shields,
pro Big Red,
just signed an extension with his contract with Olympia Milano until 2026.
Italy?
Yes, Italy. But listen to this.
I would also sign an extension to keep playing basketball in Italy.
So, Siobhan Shields has led Milano to back-to-back Italian Serie A championships.
Ooh.
Shields has played in Italy for 7 straight seasons, with the last 3 playing for this Olympia Milano team. And so they extended his contract until 2026. Don't forget, he completely shaved his head too.
Yeah.
Completely shaved his head, Siobhan Shields.
Very different.
Looks very different. But still, one of the guys in Husker men's basketball in recent history, right, the last 10, 15 years or so, where there's been some down years for Husker men's hoops. Siobhan Shields was one that fans loved because he was the guy that always didn't mind getting physical down low. And he was obviously from the small forward position or so, but didn't have a great jumper, didn't have the quickest release, but he didn't mind trying to drive baseline on a couple guys. And that was a big part of the 2014 team that ended up beating Wisconsin on No-Sit Sunday and was a part of that team with Teran Petaway and Walter Pitchford. So just a couple little basketball nuggets there. Moving on to Husker football really quickly here, Rico. Carter Nelson over the weekend visits Nebraska. And
along with everyone else in the state of Nebraska.
Yeah, this was the big recruiting weekend that we were waiting for, that Nebraska coaches as well had kind of set up.
Eric Crouch brought his Heisman.
Yes, Eric Crouch brought his Heisman. They were taking pictures with the Nebraska state flag. I don't know if you saw that.
No big deal.
Yeah, I guess not. And he has now set his commitment date for Wednesday. So Carter Nelson, who according to 24/7 Sports is the 40th best player in the country, a 4-star tight end, he is going to commit on Wednesday. And you feel like Nebraska's probably in a pretty good spot for this guy.
You usually feel really good about people announcing that they're going to commit a couple days after an official visit, as long as you have that final official visit. You feel really good about them going to it's always that last team to get the visit usually is sitting pretty.
But he's also taken 4 official visits in the last 4 weeks.
Yes.
Notre Dame, on June 2nd, he visited Georgia. Then on June 9th, he visited Notre Dame. June 16th, well, that's not correct. So in the last 4 weeks, he's visited Notre Dame, Penn State, Georgia, Nebraska.
Yeah. He posted them all like the same weekend, though, like all the pictures.
That's right. So it felt like for a while maybe Georgia was in the lead, but it feels like there's been a swing, and I'm not even going to try to predict it.
I always felt like Georgia was in the lead. I don't feel that way anymore, but it would be hard. Put yourself in his shoes. You're the best tight end in the state of Nebraska. Obviously, the home state school wants you.
Yeah.
But the back-to-back defending national champions with the number 1 overall recruit in who is a quarterback also wants you. And, I don't know, they've produced a couple of first-round tight ends, and they've got another one on their roster right now who's, if he's not the first skill position player taken that's not a quarterback, I'd be surprised.
Now, what's crazy, so as you mentioned, Rico, Georgia, Nebraska, Notre Dame, Penn State, and Alabama have all offered. And in addition, there's Auburn, Baylor, Florida. Literally pick a Power 5 school, and they've probably been in contact with Carter Nelson.
I'm pretty sure most of, if not all of the head coaches from those universities have come up to see him. I know you were freaking out because
I always freak out when
Freeman
Freeman
was in Ainsworth.
Yep.
Nick Saban was at the Nebraska State Track and Field meet watching Carter Nelson compete, which is just wild. That's just wild. Nick Saban was at the state track meet. What?
Hey, Big Bird, thanks for this statistic on the text line, 402-464-5685. 15 passing touchdowns, 14 rushing touchdowns, and 11 receiving touchdowns last year for Carter Nelson.
Just an athlete.
Once again, 8-man football. And that's what makes this story even more interesting, and puts another spin on it, is there's going to be conversations of 8-man transferring over to 11-man football. And when you look at all these schools that he's getting recruited by, it is the 8-man conversation does come up because it's Georgia recruiting an 8-man guy, Alabama recruiting an 8-man football player, right? And Nebraska, who hopefully for Husker fans feels like they're in a pretty good spot for Carter Nelson's services when he comes to college. And we're all going to find out on Wednesday, the 6'4", 205-pound tight end out of Ainsworth.
215 if you check his Twitter.
215 if you check his Twitter. Out of Ainsworth will make his decision. The number one player in the state of Nebraska. Once again, Nebraska, by the way, so far has commitments from Davon Hall, Isaiah McMorris, Daniel Kalin, Ashton Murphy, and Donovan Jones out of the state of Nebraska. If Carter Nelson does choose the Huskers, that will be the Huskers, sixth player out of the state of Nebraska for the 2024 recruiting class. They're also trying to get Caleb Benning and Caleb Pyform out of Omaha Central as well in this recruiting cycle.
So looking at the rest of the tight ends, he's ranked according to 24/7 the either second or seventh best tight end in the country. Easily the lightest tight end in the country.
Yeah.
The top five, all 6'4", minus one who's 6'5". Carter Nelson's 205. You have 235, 235, 233, 215. Caleb Odom, who is 50-50 split between Ole Miss and Alabama. And then 220, a 6'7", 245 who's going to USC. That's the guy who's also playing. I believe he's the one that's also playing baseball when he goes there.
That's right.
That's going to be a big base. 6'7", 245. That's a big boy. 6'5", 240, 6'6", 220, and 6'6.5", 239. That's the top 10 tight ends. Easily the lightest tight end in the class.
Well, and so that's what makes me wonder how Nebraska's staff kind of projects Carter Nelson, and any staff in the country for that matter, because looking at just size, you wonder about his ability to maybe block a little bit from the tight end position. And so that's where I could see him. He's got a similar size to Janiran Bonner. And we know that this staff moved Bonner into like this hybrid wide receiver tight end kind of role. And I would wonder if, I think Bonner's listed at 6'3", 200 when I looked earlier this morning, according to the Huskers website. And so 6'3", 200, and where Carter Nelson 6'4", 205. I wonder if they see a similar kind of role playing out for Carter Nelson when you look at that size of a tight end, because as you listed off, one of the lighter tight ends, and that's okay. It's not nothing against. We're not knocking out or knocking Carter Nelson's size at all, but I do wonder if this staff projects him as more of that hybrid wide receiver tight end, kind of where they move Janiran Bonner over spring camp as well. So, all right, let's go ahead and let's take our final timeout. Once again, final thoughts, 402-464-5685, as well as the Starter Heyman video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Let's go ahead and take our final timeout. When we come back, we welcome Austin and Strick. They'll join us for the crossover as we get you ready for On the Block with Strick and Austin coming up here in about 15 minutes or so. Right here, you're listening to the Happy Hour 93.7 The Ticket.
Download our app by searching 93.7 to stay in touch and listen all you are. More of that is now on 93.7 and theticketfm.com.
Put lawn irrigation on automatic. Think Judson Irrigation for worry-free service to Lincoln homeowners and business community. Judson Irrigation will turn on your sprinkler system in the spring, repair or redesign as needed, and turn it off in the fall. For service to orphan sprinklers, remember Judson Irrigation. They'll never forget you.
Call the Judson Irrigation Orphanage 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Motor Food is Lincoln's hardest rocking food truck and cafe. Motor Food creates old school comfort food with a 21st century twist and lots of rock and roll attitude. Try the barbecue pulled pork mac and cheese, the grilled chicken Firebird sandwich, a 100% all beef split grilled hot dog, and any version of their funky fries. Stop by the cafe just behind Outback Steakhouse on 48th Street or catch the food truck out and about all spring and summer. Check out their menu, order carry out, or schedule a catering at motorfoodtruck.com.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Save money on energy-efficient equipment with the LES Sustainable Energy Program. Nearly half of the financial incentives are still available for qualifying projects. View incentives and learn more at les.com/SEP.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Arnold's Tavern in Havelock is the place to be this summer and the best place in town for shuffleboard. Come on Wednesdays and learn from some of the best players in town for the shuffleboard corner for just $5 and get your first drink on the house. Come on Sundays for open house league all day starting at 11 a.m. and enjoy $3 tall boys and $3 wells. Happy hour is every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and you are always welcome to bring in your own food. Arnold's Tavern in the heart of Havelock.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
If you want all the latest technologies from those big banks, but you also want that hometown feel when you walk in the front doors, choose Midwest Bank. They have top-notch technology. They make banking so easy, and they also have the friendliest staff who will take their time to get to know you and treat you like family. You get the best of both worlds when you choose Midwest Bank. I live on the go, and now I can bank on the go. With Midwest Bank, I have everything I need at my fingertips. I'm volleyball player Allie Batenhorst, and at Midwest Bank, you'll love banking here. If you want all the latest technologies from those big banks, but you also want that hometown feel when you walk in the front doors, choose Midwest Bank. They have top-notch technology. They make banking so easy, and they also have the friendliest staff.
Plains Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
Whether you're looking for a new place to call home or trying to sell your current home, you want to make it as easy as possible. So why not use a realtor that works harder so you don't have to? The Carpe Diem team at Nebraska Realty is your go-to realty team for all your residential and commercial needs. They pride themselves on working hard and making your life as easy as possible while educating you every step of the way. Contact the Carpe Diem team to seize your moment, whether it be buying, selling, building, investing, or even commercial real estate. Give them a call today at 402-429-8121.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, call 988 for free, confidential, and compassionate support. On July 16th, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is transitioning to 988. There is hope. For 24/7 support, call, text, or chat 988.
Sponsored by Nebraska, aired with the Nebraska broad.
Nick Sainert and Enrique Perez Clary.
When cooking, I heard very clearly. You should.
Animal or men. Another man. That Jay Cutler.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Really good show so far. Once again, thanks to Leah Vann of
The Advocate.
The Advocate. I wanted to say the arbitrator. I knew it was not.
Were you going to say the advisor? I almost, so when I was typing it out, I almost typed the advisor. And I was like, that's not right.
It's the Advocate down in Baton Rouge. Thanks to Leah once again, giving us the lowdown on LSU baseball ahead of Game 3 tonight. Really good stuff. If you missed any of the show, you can go back to theticketfm.com and check out the podcast page for our show. For any of the shows, there's really good weekend content as well. So make sure you head over to theticketfm.com and check out the podcast page. We welcome in Strick and Austin. What's up, gentlemen?
What's up?
How's it going?
Great.
Good.
Great weekend.
Sweet. Do anything exciting?
I mean, I told you where I was trying to make it.
Oh, I know. I'm sorry I couldn't help you out.
I was trying to make it.
I know.
But I came up a little short on that one. But that's okay.
That's all good.
Did you guys make it to the comedy?
I couldn't help.
Did you guys make it to the comedy tour this weekend in Lincoln?
I did not.
It was great.
I do need to before we do this. I do want to clarify some comments. Mentioned Carter Nelson might not be an inline tight end or a traditional tight end, and I compared him to Janiran Bonner, and Corey in Lincoln sends a text, says Nelson isn't playing fullback. I understand that. I never said or meant to say, oh yeah, Carter Nelson is your next Nebraska fullback. I hope that Janiran Bonner isn't going to be used in a traditional fullback. The guy is 6'3", 200 pounds. Where you look at a guy like Trevor Ruth, who transferred from UNK to play that traditional fullback position, and he's 6 foot, 230 pounds. Or you look at the Notre Dame guy, and he's the similar size. In no way was I ever referencing that Carter Nelson's going to be playing a traditional fullback. I'm saying that you wonder where the staff maybe sees him as a blocking tight end, or how his blocking abilities, and whether or not he's going to be that hybrid between wide receiver and tight end in certain packages.
Is he similar to Fedoni? Is he a better blocker? I think we'll see that. I don't think he's Kyle Pitts as a receiver, but I think he's athletic enough, given his high jump numbers, to split him out a little bit. Also, shout out the Ruth family. My youngest brother played with Trevor.
Oh, nice.
For some baseball
there you
for
go.
a while. So I played with Corbin, his older brother.
Good stuff. All right, once again, 402-464-5685, the Honda Lincoln Hotline, the Starter Hammond text line. It's the crossover. We'll get you ready for On the Block here. Gentlemen, got a big one tonight. It's hard not to talk about the World Series, right? Strick, 8 of the 15 games here in the College World Series this season have been decided by 1 run.
Yeah.
It's been all we could ask for
I mean,
the men's College World Series.
11 innings on Friday.
Yeah.
For LSU to close that one off, and then and then the floodgates open, and there was a deluge out there.
It was the wind.
At the park.
Did you hear? I heard him talking about
degree launch angle homer.
At one point,
51.
I think it was the grand snow. It was the home run before that. Somebody that was sitting along the line or could see the ball along the line said it was foul and it was short. It was going to go into the stands, but it was going to be like the stands that are coming out onto the field. It wasn't going to be over the wall, but it was definitely going to be foul. And you see the wind turn it.
That's
fair
crazy.
And gone.
Wow. So we mentioned the 51 degree home run, the launch angle of 51 degrees, right? And the ideal launch angle is probably anywhere between like 17, 18 degrees that's perfect. So there's wiggle room between like 15 and 23 degrees of launch angle or so.
51's a pop-up.
51 is a golf swing, right? So, and the Creighton baseball analytics team is the group in charge of all the analytics for the Men's College World Series right now. And they tweeted out, it went out 109 miles per hour with a 51 degree launch angle. And then this comes from Cody Warsham, and he tweeted out, I checked every homer in the major leagues over the last 5 seasons, and only 1 out of 22,826 home runs had a launch angle of at least 51 degrees.
Stanton
hits liners.
Judge.
I would say Stanton hits liners.
Jorge
I would say
Soler's
Judge.
one that I wouldn't think about.
That ball went as high as it went far. That thing was skied.
It just hung up there like
It
an
caught
eagle just catching.
Oh, it caught the wind.
Yeah,
It went up. The wind way above the stadium was like, oh, let me just take that and let's take this over here for you. There's no way it was. You're not going to get that kind of wind today. And I said it before the game started because I was talking with Rachel about home runs in the Chuck, and I was like, yeah, this ballpark doesn't really see a lot of home runs, so we might see it's a little bit of small ball or whatever, but back in Rosenblatt, man, there were home runs all over. And then of course that game happens and she's like, not a lot of home runs. I go, it's the wind. I don't know.
I guess, okay. So once again, we asked a poll question earlier at the start of the show on who folks thought was going to win game 3 tonight, LSU or Florida. The people have spoken and it's heavily favored in the Tigers' direction. LSU, only 2 people, 13% of the vote, believe that Florida is going to win tonight. 86 says LSU. What are your guys' thoughts? How do you see tonight playing out?
I mean, you guys had a wonderful debate at the end of the week. And, personally, when I think about a team that got hot like that, I don't care even if it's the win. It's a mental thing. Like when you score 20 runs plus, that's a mental thing. So anytime those guys are stepping up to bat at this point, there's so much confidence. There's so much loose. They're seeing the ball probably better than they have. It's really clear. To me, it's similar of moments that I've had when the basket just looks like it's huge. Like there's nothing you can do nothing anyone can do at that moment. When you're seeing it like that, everything just slows down. It's like the Matrix, right? It's like, ooh, it's like, everything slows down. And you let this team go in there with that kind of confidence. I know we got to get a break, but you let them go in there with that kind of confidence. And if they start putting a couple bats to the ball and making a couple things happen, it can change the dynamic of that game quickly. I think you got to go shut them down.
Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. The home of Kansas City Royals baseball. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Austin.
Go Tigers. I picked LSU before the tournament even started. I got to stick with it to this point. I saw them coming out of that bracket. I just trust their top end talent too much. Skeens is throwing today, one way or the other. We've had different conversations about that in different places.
The text line keeps trying to go at us, and I don't know why they're trying to say we were wrong. We weren't wrong.
If they would have listened to us, maybe we're not playing today. Anyways, different discussion for a different day. Anyways, you have Skeens and Cooper throwing at the very least for LSU. You hope Herring has it again. I love Cruz. Tommy Tanks, I think, has another moment in him. Trey Morgan is an absolute stud.
Beloso.
Absolutely.
Everybody loves Cade Beloso.
And that's not to write off Florida. The poll being 86-13 is insane. Wyatt Langford is a dark horse #1 overall pick. Jack Hagley, known as the closest thing we have to Shohei Ohtani in college baseball this year.
Incredible two-way guy. Incredible two-way guy.
I also think the best thing that could have happened to LSU is it to be that bad. Because now you're not even thinking about putting anybody that has any substance into
start over.
You're just like, hey, we're saving and reserving everybody. If it's close, and you're gonna risk possibly using some of those guys.
So I'm also picking LSU, but my concern is all of the errors, all of the miscues from LSU in that game. The big one by the shortstop that led to that grand slam. If he gets that, that's a double play. The inning's over. But he bobbles it, next batter up, grand slam. So how are they going to bounce back from that? Sure, you can wipe the home runs, you can blame it on the win, you can do that. But the errors, the plays that you should have made, the plays that you make, 9 out of 10 times, that was the one time. But even so,
who has more pressure?
Florida's ranked higher. LSU is LSU. I don't know.
Florida was the SEC champion. That's an interesting question because I think it depends on how you look at it. We can go back and forth on whether or not they should start Paul Skeens or bring him out of the bullpen. At the end of the day, if LSU is unable to manufacture runs without the long ball, they're not going to win this game. They're not going to win this game. There are very few offenses, and LSU's included in this, that can keep up with the firepower that Florida has. Very few offenses in the entire country. So you mentioned the errors. You mentioned I mentioned manufacturing runs, whether that's base hits, whether that's bunts, right? I think the wind's going to be blowing out to center field at about 13 miles per hour. So going to be a little bit of a benefit, but not nearly as drastic as yesterday's game.
Should be a relative non-factor.
But here's the thing, is because of that, whoever LSU decides to throw out there on the mound, whether it's before or after Paul Skeens, they have to figure out a way to keep routine plays routine and limit the free bases, because the home runs, okay, yeah, solo shots. If Florida hits 20 solo shots yesterday, then you tip your cap. It's the grand slams, it's the 3-run home runs, it's those.
They hit 20 solo shots, then you have a problem.
And you wonder, and obviously that's over dramatic or overreacting, but when you look, I guess, at the way LSU has played in this series, there's been a lot of missed opportunities, and where they probably yesterday even shouldn't have been held to 4 runs. They were probably going to lose the game because they allowed 24, but they should not.
Probably
going to lose that game.
Should have had at least 10.
But here's the thing: is there were a lot of missed opportunities and a lot of instances where they just weren't able to drive guys in.
So I'm pretty sure, and my math is definitely going to be wrong, in their last 3 games that LSU has played in the Men's College World Series, they've had the bases loaded at least 4 times, and I don't think they've gotten a run either time, like any of those times that they've had the bases loaded. Because I know against Wake Forest, they hit into a double play, and I know they did it twice against Florida already, at least twice, and they didn't get a run out of it. You need to be able to, and you have 1 out. You have the bases loaded and 1 out, and you still can't figure out a way to get a run in.
Well, and that's the thing, is it doesn't matter how well Paul Skeens can pitch. That's one of the beauties of baseball, as you guys know. You can have a really, really strong and well-played baseball game and lose 1-0 or 2-0, right? But in this moment, right, on the biggest stage in college baseball, in Game 3, in a must-win, this is it. This is for all the marbles, as I said when we started the show. Paul Skeens could go out there and throw 45 pitches over 100 miles per hour, and Florida's just better than him on 2 pitches, and they hit a single, and then they hit a double, and they score the guy from first base, and they're up 1-0. Okay, you can't sit there at the end of the game and say, we lost 1-0, man. Really wish we would have gotten a better effort out of our pitching. You're not going to do that. At some point, you got to be able to manufacture runs and drive guys in when they get on base.
And that comes from the bottom of the order. Look what Florida did yesterday. Ty Evans, the couple homers.
Yeah.
That's a bottom of the order bat. We know the stars. We do. But whoever I think ends up with more production, I'm not going to say hits, but more production, getting guys on base, timely hits, making the right play, moving a runner, sac fly, anything like that. Whoever has more production from the 6th spot and below, that's my pick for the game.
And that's what's interesting, because you mentioned Ty Evans. It doesn't have to be in the form of a home run.
No.
It doesn't have to be in form of a double, like you just said, Austin. It's just doing your job, right? And that's where the littlest things in today's game are going to mean the most, right?
You don't even have to get on base.
Well, that's the thing. You could just do your job.
It'd be great if you did. You could even, something else that you could do, just make the starter, whoever the starter is, just have a heavenly at bat where you make him throw 18 pitches.
Well,
just foul things off.
I mean, just keep, but that comes from good approaches. That comes from understanding your opponent and understanding your game and not trying to do too much with it. And so I think it's going to be interesting. So we're going LSU all the way around.
Looks like it.
Yeah, I'm going LSU.
All right.
That's not a good sign.
What's coming up on the show tonight, guys?
Lots. New proposed NIL legislation we haven't gotten a chance to talk about. We'll see if that'll help or not. Which NFL offenses are quarterback proof? Get into that a little bit. Jazz make a trade for John Collins. We'll touch on that. And then with the 11-inning 1-0 1-0 classic between LSU and Florida. Game 4-3 would have been, I guess. With that game, what are the best games we've ever attended in person?
Oh, there you go. All right.
That's a good one.
Stick around. On the Block with Strick and Austin coming up next. Once again, huge thanks to Leah Vann from Baton Rouge for joining us, the beat writer for LSU football and baseball, previewing Game 3 tonight. Tomorrow at 1:30, Kyle Peterson from ESPN joins us to recap the College World Series. We'll talk about whichever team wins the national championship tonight. That one first pitch at 7 p.m., but KP will join us at 1:30 p.m. tomorrow to recap it from from Omaha. Thanks for joining us. Stick around on the block. Strick and Austin coming up next. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Adios.
There's never been a better time to earn more on your checking account. Open a free Kasasa Cash Check Account Credit Union and earn up to 5.5% APY for up to $40,000. It's simple. Open your Kasasa Cash Checking account online with Seward and Omaha branches. Liberty First makes switching easy. In Kasasa Checking is liberty.com for details. Federally insured by NCUA. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose.
Want to sell your business? You need someone to confidentially find the right buyer. Whether you're planning a future exit strategy or you need to sell now, we're here to help. Transworld Business Advisors of Lincoln. Call 402-413-1095.
You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution. Whether it's a new roof installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. If you have a need for siding or gutters, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today.
Spring is here, and it's time is here and ready. Sprinkler system up and running for the season. Judson's technicians will check for winter damage, adjust your sprinkler heads, and show you how to set your controller for effective sprinkling coverage. The Judson Irrigation Team is here for you. Stay safe.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Want to sell your business? You need someone to confidentially find the right buyer.